What happened when every teenager on earth got a camera in their pocket? Does everybody stop watching videos? Does creativity die? No, of course not. The exact opposite. Everyone thinks that vibe coding makes software worthless. This is the most common take that I see. The simple assumption is if everybody can do it, then how can I create value? I think the right way to look at it is opinions are the edge. So if you stop and think about who your favorite creators are, I would go down the list and venture to say that almost all of them, have an opinion, or you might even follow them strictly because they have an opinion or are sharing their opinion. I think the edge is being edgy. For example, for me, I have a huge problem with subscriptions, and I tried out Rocket Money. And the first thing I found out was it's a subscription service to cancel subscriptions. Like this just doesn't make sense to me. I tried it. It didn't even find all of my subscriptions. The process to cancel it was not instant. It wasn't immediate. It's like I'm signing up now for this new service that hopefully will save me money. And so in response to this, I decided to just build a tool for myself to cancel subscriptions. I posted an open source repo of this and it got pretty popular. Got a bunch of GitHub stars. And so people were asking me, can you just make a website to do it? So I made a website to do it for a week in, and we have almost 1,000 paying customers. And for example, like this is my opinion on the world. Like, I don't think an app designed to cancel subscriptions should also be a subscription. In the past, my only avenue of expressing this is a bad review. But now if I see a problem or inefficiency in the world, I can make something that's already at parity in terms of accuracy, quality, etc., than these leading incumbents that are worth millions and millions of dollars. And that's just one example. That's just one app. That's just one shitty experience that turned into something that was profitable and fun to make. And so here's where I think it's going. I think consumer software is about to look like Substack. Instead of paying $10 to $20 a month to 3 giant apps, I think people are going to be paying $2 to $5 to $7 to dozens of creator-led tools. Your subscription list is going to look closer to a personalized Netflix or Substack feed than a winner-take-all market. For example, this year it might not show yet, but I've been getting bigger. I've been working on getting bigger, hitting the gym. And I have this YouTuber I love. His name is Jeff Nippard. He's like the king of science-based lifting. And there's nobody out there that really makes content like him. A year ago, it wouldn't really make sense for him to make an app because the development costs would be so high. He would have to maintain the app. There's already all these developers that are building in the app store, and it's unclear if you can win in that space. But I would be shocked if by the end of 2026 or early 2027, Jeff Nippard doesn't have an app because nobody can really do what he does. And the biggest gap between him and the audience is Jeff Nippard's not in my ear yelling at me, that I'm doing my form wrong. Jeff Nippard's not telling me I need to go work out today. Jeff Nippard isn't in my, in my house telling me I need to hit these macros today. And this is really hard to do with just YouTube videos that are more passive. But it's very possible with an app. Another example I like is Mr. Beast. Why wouldn't Mr. Beast have a to-do list app? It's like people look at Mr. Beast aspirationally. People want to be like him. And when you look at Mr. Beast, you think, wow, that's a productive fucking guy. And the thing is, like, he probably has a whole science that he's built over these years of how he gets productive. But to share that with his audience, the only avenues to really do that today are kind of scammy. It's like you launch a course, you kind of go down the InfoFi path. I think that all of this has ultimately been a limitation because of app development costs and software engineering costs. And where I think this is all leading is for the last 3 decades, Silicon Valley, San Francisco has been the hub of where software gets created. And I think a lot of people in Silicon Valley think this will always be the case. But I think that's the same thing that people in Los Angeles thought with Hollywood. A decade ago, the only way to really get famous in the world was you move to LA, you do auditions, and you hope maybe somebody likes you. Then you get into a movie, and then you work your way up. If you told me that was your strategy today, I'd say you're fucking retarded. You don't need to move to LA. Your best shot at getting famous is picking up your phone and recording a video. But I think in the same way, what we're going to see with software is we're going to see a Cambrian explosion of opinions being expressed via software. And I don't think it's going to come from copying the existing things and making them cheaper. I think it's going to come from people that find ways to express their opinions, worldviews, and belief systems via application. Last year, I remember seeing that the Atomic Habits guy finally made an app. I don't know how much it cost them. They probably spent a lot of money and went through a whole studio, agency, etc. It was like the Atomic Habits app, in theory, is way more effective than the book, right? Like, here's a guy's worldview, James Clear. He has a worldview on how to build good habits. And the only way to process this for years has been you read the book, take notes, and hope that your brain can keep all of that in your brain. It works. Like clearly, it's one of the best selling books of all time, but obviously, it's more of inefficient than an app that expresses this and enforces this in a much clearer way. I think there's a whole world out there of cult like beliefs that have yet to be expressed with software because it was never worth it for a software engineer to build. It's not like there's an audience for it. But in the same way, when YouTube first started out, TikTok first started out, there might not be as big of an audience for short form video. Obviously, now we look a decade later and there's a massive audience for short form video. It's well surpassed the audience for movies and TV, which if you said this 10 years ago, it would look kind of crazy. You would sound a little bit crazy. And so I think we are only going to spend more and more time on the internet. And as a population, we're only going to continue to increase our screen time. If that is the case, I think the desire for software that matches and fits the worldview that you have is going to continue to grow. And I think when the margins for software can lower, it can also expand the basic consumer to be able to afford multiple subscriptions per month or pay for one-time off apps, etc. So I'm making this video because I am excited about the way the world's going. I think the worst take you can have right now is that there's a window. Oh, like you only have the next year to get rich. You only have the next, 6 months to get rich and then it's over. And I think this is kind of like saying if you're not Fred or Niga Higa, you're never going to be famous on YouTube. You're never going to get big on YouTube. And it's like, you can have that take, but that's just not how the internet has ever worked. When has there ever been a trend that has a cutoff on the internet? I see AI as technology that allows us to express our opinions with software. And I think if the entire world got to express their opinions with software, we have no clue all of the creativity, the ingenuity, and the damn good ideas that are going to come from this. And that gets me really, really excited. So I hope your takeaway from this is, even if you have not played with Claude Code or if you haven't built anything with vibe coding yet, at the very least, start to ask yourself, what are my opinions? What views do I have on the world? What do I believe? Because those are going to be the only things that AI can't do pretty soon. AI is going to be able to write just as good as us. It's already kind of coding just as good as us. It's going to make videos better than us. It's going to make images better than us. And so people early on try to fixate on what people will spend money on. But I think this is not the right approach to start. I think the best approach to start is practicing expressing your opinion with software. And so people clown on people that make, their habit tracker as their first app or a workout log or a personal blog or website. And, there's a huge circle jerk constantly about making profitable software. How is this going to make money? Blah, 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 blah. I think this is completely flipped upside down because now that you understand my worldview, I think the people that are able to express their creativity and their opinions via the architecture of the software, via every little design interaction, every moment that people touch and play with their tooling, this is, I think, the edge. What I hope to do on this channel is I've watched an ungodly amount of tutorials, workflows, all this stuff for years now, ever since the first ChatGPT came out. And I think that most of them suck. Like I think most of them give you the wrong idea. A lot of this content is around, oh, here's my workflow to make me more efficient. And then it's kind of like a circle jerk because the people that are watching it kind of keep going down that rabbit hole. And the people on the outside are like, well, dude, why the fuck would I optimize 8 agents at the same time if I don't even know what I want to make? And I think the point is, to start, you really don't need to know what you want to make. You just need to practice and get comfortable with what does it look like for me to have an idea and express it by making something with code. Anyway, this will probably be one of my few videos where I'm just talking and ranting. I think the next video I do will be more with Cursor and Claude Code open and kind of just show you my way of getting started and building stuff with this, which I think is more fun than a lot of the tutorials that I see. And then we just go from there.